Hey guys, welcome back to DCS World. I'm Spudknocker, as always. And today, before I head out to the range to do a little practice here on the NTTR, I figured I would show you guys how to get into that really cool GoPro view. After I showed it off in a little music video that I threw together, as well as the helmet-mounted cueing system and AIM-9X tutorial, I got a lot of requests through the comments and direct messages and things about how do you get into that view. And so today we're going to go and take a look at how to get into there. So we'll go ahead and hop into the cockpit. One thing that's really going to help is if you have some sort of a head tracker. I really recommend Track IR for that. It seems to be the best one on the market. You could probably do it with VR, but I don't know how successful you would be because I don't use VR at the moment, waiting for the next generation currently. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the controls you'll need. So just hit escape. Go to Adjust Controls. First thing you'll need is the FOV zoom called Zoom External In and Zoom External Out. That is right control num star and num slash with the normalization being num enter. So that's so you can reset the FOV in case you mess it up somehow, which happens. It's not an exact science getting into this view, that's for sure. Next thing you're going to want to know is moving your camera up, left, down, and right. That would be these guys right here. And that will help you get your camera centered into the exact place you want it to be, as well as it's more precise than using the zoom function. Now another thing that's also important is zoom. And that is something you probably already have bound since most people use it when just flying regularly to spot targets or to look at an instrument a little more closely, something like that. So we'll go ahead and hop on back out. And the view that we get into this view on is not actually the F2 aircraft view. The F2 aircraft view, it floats. I know you guys have all seen that. We'll turn off that dot, that didn't look so great. Didn't even notice it before. It floats on you, it can shake, you know, it kind of moves around the aircraft as the aircraft moves, and so we want a view that's actually hard stuck to the aircraft. So that would be your F4 view. So on the F4 view, the view is actually hard stuck to the aircraft, so wherever you move it on the aircraft, zoom out, zoom in, whatever you do, it's going to be stuck there, no matter what the relation to the aircraft's movement is. So that's why this is much better to use for the GoPro type view than something else. So what I like to do is make sure my Track IR is centered. That always really helps. Go to F4 view, and then we'll swing with the mouse all the way over until we're pretty much centered. Then when we're centered, we can go ahead and move the camera left. And like I said, this is not an exact science. I'll be moving back and forth and up and down and all crazy things as I'm trying to get it exactly perfect. So that looks pretty good right now, but you wouldn't have a GoPro on the outside of your canopy, right? So we'll go ahead and move her on in. Okay, that looks pretty good too. We've got a little bit of the HUD in the way. That should be okay. But if you look at like GoPro videos of the inside of F-18s, whether it's in the Strike Fighter Ball or other videos, cruise videos, things like that, they're usually not directly to the right of the HUD. They're usually up a little bit. So we'll go ahead and move it up a little tiny bit more. Went too far. There we go. That looks pretty good. Bring it left just a tiny bit, up a tiny bit. Oh man. It's really hard to be precise because of the mechanical keyboard because it presses so hard to get it to actuate. It's too bad there's not a axis to use with this, but that's all right. Like I said, not exactly an exact science. So that looks pretty good here. We're almost pretty much on the canopy bow, which is where a lot of pilots in real life really mount their GoPros. So we're looking, we can see the wings and stuff, but obviously it's not very cool having the camera like right up in the pilot's face, right? So that's where the FOV zoom comes in. So that now we can go ahead and use the FOV zoom to zoom way out and get the wings bombs, the pilot, the canopy, all of that good stuff in view. So we'll go ahead and take a screenshot here for the video thumbnail, and then you can then keep moving the camera around from there. So obviously this was the shot where I was looking back at the pilot at the wings as I was, you know, flying through the mountains and things in that music video. Or when I was dropping those bombs and you could see the bombs coming off the wings. That was a really cool shot. In the joint helmet mounted queuing system video, when I was talking about the actual system itself, this is the view that I was using. It's actually a derivative of the Israeli Elbit Systems Dash 3. Now there's a couple other places we can place a camera. There's another place that's very cool for very short shots. It doesn't look that great in the long term, but that is looking up at the pilot like this. We got a little bit of the control stick. We can see some of the cockpit instruments. We can see that the dispense emergency button, push button up there. We can see the canopy, see the pilot, and that was like some of those cool videos or shots in the video where, you know, I was rolled over and you could see some of the terrain running by as I was doing ridge crossings. As well as I used this video to show off the explosions of the bombs after I dropped them and then was flying away from the target area. Another cool one that I'm going to need to reset the view to get to, we'll go ahead and reset our FOV so that we can get into this view a little bit easier, and that is the kind of the over-the-shoulder view. This one was a little bit harder to get into, but we'll go ahead and try it out anyway. Actually, you know what? First, let's go ahead and flip the battery on and put the canopy down. Here she comes. And boom. And we'll flip the battery back off. And so that way we can see the canopy next to the camera. So that you guys can kind of get an idea of how you would be doing this kind of in flight. So I don't think many of you guys are going to be doing this on the ground like I'm doing here. So we'll go ahead and move the camera onto kind of the center line of the aircraft. Move it up a little bit, and then we'll start moving the camera inside the canopy, down a little bit, maybe up a little bit, to the side just a tiny bit, move it in a bit, maybe up just a hair. There we go, that looks pretty good. And then we can simply zoom the FOV out. And these were those shots where I was kind of, it looked like the first person view, but it wasn't the first person view, it was kind of over the shoulder. I use this for when I was like across the ridges and things like that. Just kind of mixing them all together to kind of make a cool looking video. So those are the views that I use for that video. I'm sure you can place the camera in a multitude of places. My kind of idea for everything was to get the cameras in kind of a place that I knew would be kind of realistic as to where pilots put their GoPros for their GoPro type videos for the, you know, strike fighter ball, cruise videos, things like that. Another place I kind of wanted to place a camera, but was unable to really successfully do so, was kind of up here. I couldn't get it just right. I think it's because they mount the cameras up here on the top of the canopy between the seats and the two-seaters. I don't think it really works so well for a one-seater. But that is the tutorial, and I hope that kind of answers your questions, guys. So it's the F4 view that you use as kind of the base view, and then you just move it around with the camera manipulation tools. And that is pretty much it. So, happy filming, guys, and happy screenshotting.